Hello, I'm Tani Wolf and welcome to The Difference TV. Today I'm here with the gorgeous Chiara Tino and we're talking about how to awaken the awareness within people. And I just want to start by asking you, what do you mean by awakening awareness within people?
Well, really it's just about becoming aware of the guidance all around us. It's everywhere. You know, it's in the words of a song that you hear, or it's on a billboard, and I became aware of that sort of guidance about 10 years ago, and I wrote a book on it. So I've just spent my time either with clients or with people who read my book just talking about ways in which they become more aware of that guidance and trusting themselves more.
And when we were outside before, you were sharing with me a story about how that using trusting guidance actually brought you into this project, The Difference.
It did, actually. I was having a conversation with a friend about really longing to work on a movie project that you know enables me to share that knowledge with people and make a difference to people in that way. And I said, you know, I'd love to be part of a movie project that actually enables me to do that. And literally 2 days later, Jacqueline called me and asked me to be a part of the project.
That's
so
amazing.
I knew it was divine timing.
Yeah, and that's a real example of what you're talking about, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that also tells you too that if you have a conversation about something, that you're being heard by a higher power.
Yeah, so we need to be really clear with what we talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so what brought you to the point where you started to learn about developing your own internal awareness?
Well, years ago I lived in Sydney and I was at a crossroads in my life, as most of us come to every so often, and I was literally sitting at a traffic light wondering which way to go with my life. I was in a relationship I wasn't sure I wanted to be in and where I wanted to be living. And I was sitting there at the traffic lights and it seemed to take so long for the traffic light to change. And so I looked up in the sky and there was a sky rider up there and I was watching what it was riding, and I asked, you know, what do I do? Like, Lord, you know, which way do I go? And literally, as I'm sitting at this traffic light, the sky rider actually wrote in the sky the words, "Go your own way."
Oh my goodness.
And I sat there and I thought, oh my God. And I knew exactly what I needed to do. I needed to just free myself of situations that weren't really serving me.
And from that point, did you start looking for signs all around you?
Everywhere.
Amazing.
And they were everywhere.
And what's the strangest one, or the most interesting one that you...
Well, the most amazing one was where I was lying on a beach maybe 4 or 5 years later with a girlfriend, and we were talking and I said to her, you know, I really have this yearning to write. And she said, well, you know, think about it. What sort of book do you want to write about? And I was talking about how it's really important to talk to people about getting their emotions in check and just listening to their emotions and feeling their bodies when they feel certain emotions. And we were laying there and there's another sky rider in the sky and we were talking, no word of a lie, we were talking about emotions. And the word in the sky that he wrote was E-motions.
Wow.
And we just sat there speechless. And she said to me, you know what? You've been talking about this sort of stuff for years. You've got to write a book about signs. This is the book you need to write about.
So not the book about emotions, but a book about signs.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was like I was shown that sign to know what I needed to write about.
And so then you said about writing it. Was that difficult for you? Or was
it was a 5-year process.
Wow.
You know, as in any type of book that you write, you know, it makes you look at your own life and where you're going and where you've been. So it was a 5-year work in the making. And I've just spent time since then getting it out there. I've just created it as an audio as well, and people can download it as an MP3. So.
And in terms of when you were writing the book, were you given a lot of signs during those 5 years that helped you?
Yeah, and they're all in the book. The book is really about my own personal experiences, following the guidance and seeing the signs, and also people in my life, their experiences as well.
And so if someone like me, if I had never really sort of engaged with that kind of inquiry before, what would be the first thing I could do to start?
I would start with asking the universe questions about things you already know the answer to. So, you know, show me my favourite colour. What's my favourite colour?
And then be open to how it comes to you. It could come anyway.
Yeah. And odds on you'll get
pink
what
undies.
your colour is. Yes, absolutely, literally. And they'll show you, the guidance comes through with a great sense of humour as well. So it's really just, and you can have a real conversation with the guidance.
My mother does it with radio stations. She's always ringing me and saying, I heard this song, it's it's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Does it speed up as people get more
it speeds
tuned
up
in?
very much so. And the more you trust it, it just comes at you at high speed. So, and then you get excited and you share that knowledge with people, and they start to see the signs, and they start to, begin trusting. And, the effect that it has on some people, like I've had clients who come to me, who've had loved ones pass away, like I had a young lady whose mother had passed away, and she took my book and she read it, and she finally got that the signs she was seeing she was seeing signs of her mother and wasn't even aware that her mother was sending her signs.
It's amazing.
And it was very comforting for her.
Yeah, I feel really inspired by that, and I really hope that those of you watching this really can start to look for signs in your life, whether they're small or large. I'm Tanya Wolf with The Difference TV. Live the difference that you're here to make.
Live your difference. www.thedifference.tv